Hello everyone. All right. There's so much to talk about. I don't even know where to start. I do have a little book here where I jot down all the major talking points so I don't forget anything. But this time period between the 20th to the 23rd is going to probably be the most important and the most intense shift that we're going to experience, not just in 2024, but in decades to come. I know that sounds really dramatic, but you have to hear me out. There's a reason I decided to do a video on this. Now, you're most welcome to skip through the transits and the astro jargon and all of that and jump straight to the reading. I will put the timestamp in the description box down below, but I highly recommend you listen to this, all right? Now, I'm going to be as precise as I can. Right now, if you think about where Pluto is, it's at an anaretic degree, right? Every sign is made up of 30 degrees. And the 29th degree is the last degree, technically. It's at 29 degrees of Capricorn before it moves into Aquarius. This degree is a degree of, well, closure. But it is also a degree that is full of pressure, all right? Right now, wherever Capricorn lies within your birth chart, if you don't know, you will know where you've been feeling pressure for the last 15 years, because that's where Pluto's been. It's been in Capricorn for 15 years. There could be resentment related to something. There could be something that's too much of a burden, and you know now that it has to be released, right? You may be pushing yourself, carrying that burden for God knows how long, but it's almost like now that 29th anaretic degree, it shows you the straw that's going to break your back, right? And any obsessions, any compulsions that don't deserve your time and your energy now will be released, whether you like it or you don't, right? I know we're supposed to work with the planets, but a planet as powerful as Pluto, don't be mistaken, right? Just because it's not counted in our solar system doesn't mean it doesn't carry a very heavy energy. It's almost as powerful as Saturn, right? Now, there's a release here, and there will be an acceptance, even if it's difficult. Even if right now you don't like what you're purging, eventually you're going to embrace the new you, right? There's almost like a powerlessness here, but a powerlessness that we must embrace right now, because it is a time of karmic closures. A lot of karma has been, well, digested, and it's time for it to be released. Okay. Now, on the 20th, the sun meets Pluto in Capricorn, all right? On the 20th itself again, the sun enters Aquarius. Do you understand how powerful that is? On the 21st, Pluto enters Aquarius. This is just 11 hours later. On the 20th, again, the Mercury retrograde shadow period ends, all right? And unrelated to most of this, on the 23rd, Venus is moving into Capricorn. So we will talk about that a little bit as well, because it is important in the grand scheme of things. Now, the last time that the sun will meet, this is the last time basically that the sun will meet Pluto in Capricorn within our lifetimes, all right? And it's going to trigger our deepest desires. We're capable of anything right now. I did say there's a sense of powerlessness, but imagine if you're swimming upstream, right? You're putting in that power, you're putting in that pressure. You're not going to get very far. But if you give in to that powerlessness and you go with the flow, you'll go much faster. This is that kind of energy, right? It is a very volatile conjunction because Pluto does represent the great depth. It represents shadow and darkness, and death and rebirth and transformation and all those difficult words, right? So it will be volatile. And it's going to expose what's been happening in the shadows, because that's what the sun does, right? We're talking about this conjunction between the sun and Pluto. The sun will lighten up those shadows, will bring them up to the surface to be addressed and healed. So a lot of things may have been repressed. They're going to be repressed no more. And this is going to happen on a global and personal level, right? Now, any fears that have been surrounding us about the future may come up, because Aquarius is the future, right? We are entering the age of Aquarius as well, and that's debatable on so many levels, but I won't get into that here. But any interpersonal relationships will transform because you're technically transforming your future. This is not a transit that's going to affect your decision making for 2-3 days at a time. This is long term. This is decades that we're talking about, right? I'm not saying you're going to make those decisions within 2 days, but the building blocks are being put down now. All right. Now, 16 years ago is when Pluto moved into Capricorn. So that is how slow the planet moves, right? And in Aquarius now, we have about 8 months because it's going to be retrograding in May, and then it's eventually going to move back into Capricorn in September up till November, till it finally rests in Aquarius for the next 20 years by the end of the year. So these 8 months, we will get a taste of what Pluto is promising us for the next 2 decades. So pay very close attention, all right? Maybe keep a journal these next 8 months. If you're not a journal person, maybe send yourself voice notes, because there will be, like I said, those building blocks that have to be ingrained within your psyche right now. If you ignore any of them, they're just going to surprise you again in the times to come. But if you address them now, you'll be prepared, right? Now, Pluto and the Sun move into Aquarius simultaneously, 11 hours apart. And our outlooks will become more experimental because, again, Aquarius is that mad scientist energy. It's brilliant, but it is mad scientist, right? And we will feel more independent, that's for sure, wanting a better world and helping the collective rise up. Because Aquarius is the great humanitarian, right? The water bearer. Even though it's called the water bearer, it's carrying air waves within that jar, that's vibrations that help your entire community. Past status quos will be abolished. Things that have been holding us up, structures that have been very permanent in our lives. This could be anything. This could be government. This could be massive corporations, any kind of monopolies, right? This could be existing structures related to marriage, to religion, to tradition. Things that have been very unchanging, because that is what Capricorn is. It is a very unchanging archetype. So any of these things that have been very unchanging are going to start disintegrating. Why I'm saying start? Because they're not going to fall down in a day, right? This is 20 years we're talking about. But you're going to start seeing themes of that now. Now, there's going to be a change. This is an era of change in communication, community, and technology. And we want to reinvent ourselves. There's going to be more possibilities going forward, right? Cutting out unhealthy habits is going to be of paramount importance. And we're almost going to become rebels with causes ready to rebuild, right? That's how I've written it down in my book, and it gives me chills. But it's a transformative time. And I was speaking to a client the other day, and she was in the middle of a difficult decision, and I said, hold on for just a bit, right? Hold on for at least a week till you make your decision, because we don't know what the planets have in mind, right? The planets can muddle our minds right now, and they're puppeting us. So let them do what they need to do till we let free will come into play. I know that can be very counterintuitive because we are creators of our own reality. I get that. But the planets are much bigger than we are, right? There has to be a sense of respect there. So the next week or so is going to be difficult. It's going to be explosive. For some people, maybe in the best way possible. Maybe this brings about the breakthrough that you've needed all this while, right? Pluto will shake out any stagnant corners within your life and within your mind. So we should embrace this. It's for our highest good. Pluto's never going to do anything that's going to harm us in the long run, right? Now, the little transit that I had mentioned towards the end, Venus entering Capricorn on the 23rd. Why I wanted to talk about this is because we have been talking about Capricorn energy, and Venus, being the planet of love, has been in Sagittarius, which is a very independent, happy-go-lucky, and sometimes, if there are any Sagittarians watching, please don't hate me. My dad's a Sag, so I'm saying everything very carefully, but Sagittarius can be slightly immature, especially when it comes to matters of the heart, because it is fire. Right? It's not a very permanent energy. But now that it is moving into Capricorn, which is Earth, it's going to make us very careful in love, right? We will want partners who show up. Boundaries are going to be exercised. Longevity in relationships is the focus. Integrity and accountability will be important. And I think it's a great time for Venus to move, to be frank with you, because Sagittarius energy doesn't really have a lot of room here. It'll be a misfit in the grander scheme of things, in the greater scheme of things. So at least when it comes to our love lives, there will be a little bit of security, right? It's not going to be up in the air. I'm out of breath. All right. I hope now you understand how important these couple of days are going to be. I will be doing a full moon reading very soon. We have a full moon happening in Leo on the 25th. And that's going to be it's going to be the moon joining the party. Let's just put it like that. So, yeah, we will react. It's a highly reactive full moon. Let me just put it in that language. So I will be pulling cards on that soon, but let's focus on what we have right now. I finally have the entire set of the Crow Tarot and the Oracle deck and the mini deck, and I'm so excited to finally use it. Let's see what we have and how we can make sense of what's happening. Now, as always, this is a general reading. It may or may not resonate for all of you. Please only take the bits that do resonate and leave the rest behind to somebody else. I'll probably just freestyle everything. I don't have a spread in mind, starting off with the Oracle cards. All right, we have observation. How stunning are these cards? I'm suddenly getting, he's looking at that spider web, right? And somehow, to me, that's very Aquarian-like. Because this is building, this is community, this is everything being tied to everything, right? This could also be the collective consciousness, if you want to go deeper. There is something here about looking at your surroundings, looking at your environment, looking at your community, your soul tribe, your friendships, your relationships, your family, and asking yourself if you are content, if there's anything you would change. Is there any cord right there within the web that you would want to snap at this time? Because if there was ever a time to do that, it is now. Trust me, it is now. I'm also getting hard work. I'm getting maybe now is not the time to work hard. You remember what I said about the stream, right? Maybe it's not the time to swim upstream. It's time to just release. He's looking at that spider working very hard. He's not helping him, right? And then we have influence. Oh, goodness. I'm not sure I can show this card on YouTube. But we'll go with it. But you see, with influence, again, I'm thinking about our community, about our friend groups, about our soul tribe, about people who have a say in how we conduct ourselves. And no matter how independent we are, we always have connections like that, right? People we go to for advice. I feel that there are people around you here, collective, that are not conducive to your highest purpose, to your growth. And it's so interesting. There are so many crows outside today. And I don't hear them very often around my house. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're screeching away. I think they're happy to be represented. But influence. Now is not the time to let someone else make decisions for you. It is time to stand in your power. I'm going to see how the cards reflect the oracles, but whoa, did you see that? Justice. Let me grab the ones that fell. That was explosive. Karmic balance. I did say that when I was talking about the transits. There's a karmic balance happening here. And you see that crown right there. We don't very often see the crown in the Justice card. We normally see just the sword, which is Archangel Michael's sword of truth. There's something about your reputation here. There's something about how you are perceived, how you are looked at, right? And it's possible that situations around you, or maybe your habits or the way you dress or whatever, may have blinded people as to the core of who you are, right? The authentic you that wants to show itself. It's almost like external factors may have clouded people's judgments as to what your core holds. That's what I'm getting here, even though that's not the meaning of the Justice card. I'll give you an example. It's like my husband's a pilot, all right? And he is one of the most diligent people and the most responsible people I have ever come across. And he's a Virgo, so makes sense, right? But he has a bunch of tattoos, right? And when you look at him for the first time, it's almost like you will not perceive him as this hard-working, responsible individual. Because, I mean, the first time my father met him, he asked me, oh, he's one of those biker fellows, right? I mean, does he train in the gym or something? Because he's buff and he's tattooed, right? So he didn't come across as a professional. So that's what I'm getting here. I feel like there's something here about your external appearance that doesn't reflect who you are inside. The Fool. Beautiful. We're going to want to embrace the Fool energy, trust me, because it's almost like we're at the judgment on the world, right? Those are the two last cards in the major arcana. And the Fool is the first, which is a new beginning. Now that Pluto is changing signs, it's going to feel like we've completed a journey that's lasted 16 years, right? I will be clarifying, so I'm not going to say too much, but those lotuses got my eye. Some of us may have been living in muck, right? And as we know, dirtier the water, the brighter the petals. So now is the time to rise up from that muck. There's a reason I pointed to the sword in the Justice card. This is honesty. This is authenticity. This is clear, direct communication, action. Aquarius energy, I did say, is very mad scientist. It is the rebel. This is eccentricity, right? There's nothing traditional about Aquarius energy, even though the traditional ruler of Aquarius was Saturn. But it was very quickly changed to Uranus, which is the planet of surprises, of rebellion. If any of you resonated with what I said here about the tattoos and the professionalism, it's almost like now the tattoos are going to make you look more professional. Does that make sense? The crazier we are, the crazier our appearance, the crazier our communication is just going to lead to a more authentic us. Capricorn, I did tell you, is a very traditional archetype, right? This is a business suit. But Aquarius now is a skater boy. This is somebody wearing these shorts that hang off you, right? And chains everywhere and piercings. And it's almost like there's a shift happening within our environment where that is considered more professional than business suits. It sounds absolutely bizarre, but you're going to look back to this video 20 years later and you're going to realize that I was right. You know how on the runway, when we're talking about fashion, it's not even about what's proper, what's elegant anymore. The more bizarre the fashion is, the more attention it gets. We're gearing up for Aquarius season, right? So that the truth is changing. Our collective truths are changing. The Three of Pentacles building. Community is showing up a lot, and I feel like we need to be exceptionally careful about who we're collaborating with, because we have the Eight of Swords right here, which is my card of daymares, right? The Nine of Swords is nightmares, the Eight of Swords is daymares. It's about feeling stuck. It's about not being able to escape your own mind. And if we take advice from the wrong people, that can happen, where we feel like we're caged, right? And we can't escape that prison. Even though the gate is open, we can walk out whenever we want. You see the blindfold. We have a blindfold here, and we have a blindfold in the Justice card. If you have been finding it difficult to balance out your life, if you've been finding it difficult to have an opinion of your own that's authentic just to you without the influence of anybody else, that's going to change now. And with the Three of Pentacles and the Justice card, it's very interesting because you're only going to be attracting people who are conducive to your growth or your higher purpose, spiritual or otherwise. And in friendships, in relationships, if you've been feeling there hasn't been enough equal give and take, there has been no justice, and you're so close to releasing that, that release is going to help bring in people who actually fill up your cups. I know that's not a cups card, it's a pentacles card, but it is a collaboration. It is people helping you and you helping them in return, right? There's an equal gift exchange. What did I say? The release. That is what the Eight of Cups represents. You see, the crow is well, walking or flying away from these 8 broken cups that haven't served him, in search of the 9th cup, right? And he may very well be flying into or walking into a volcano, but it's almost like anything is better than here, right? That volcano may become dormant by the time he reaches it, but he doesn't know, right? I feel like a lot of you may have been stuck between a rock and a hard place, but you see, with the Fool, you're choosing the hard place. You're choosing to follow a very difficult path without a certain something or a certain someone, because having it in your life or having them in your life didn't make your life any easier. The Fool sometimes for me is a sigh of relief, right? Shedding of baggage. Two aces gracing your reading. This is wonderful. The Ace of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Swords by itself can be a little cold, but the Ace of Pentacles grounds it. Grounds it. Oh my God, this is so perfect. There's a reason I asked you to listen to the astrological transits before I pulled the reading. I did say that the changes you're going to be making now will have long-lasting consequences, right? The next 2 decades are at play here. What is the Hierophant? The Hierophant is tradition. The Hierophant is a way of life even. This could be your spiritual beliefs, your religious beliefs. This could be your work ethic even. This could be your faith in God, in the universe, in yourself. Here with the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords, it's almost cementing a truth within your life, within your body, mind and spirit. What is that truth? You need to ask yourself that. I wouldn't know. I know what my truth is, right? What is yours? It's almost like picking an architectural design for the home that you're going to live in forever. Now is the time to pick that blueprint, to draw out that blueprint. Because once it's cemented, it's going to be permanent. It sounds really scary, I know. But, well, that's what helps us be accountable for ourselves, right? For our growth. There's an accountability here with the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles, and I feel like some of you know exactly which direction you want to move in. And if this concerns love, the Hierophant was considered to be the Pope, right? Who would officiate marriages. That's why the Hierophant Taurus energy is considered to be a card of higher commitment. With the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles, this is a solid offer. This is not wishy-washiness. This is not the Knight of Cups or the Knight of Pentacles or any of that nonsense. Not that they're nonsensical cards, but a lot of the times those knights can severely disappoint us, right? The Ace of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles, they're offers from the universe. They're not offers from anybody else. If you're familiar with the original Rider-Waite, it's a hand coming out of nowhere offering that stuff to you, right? That's the hand of the cosmos, of the divine. So this is a very well-deserved proposal, whatever this is for you. Why is justice here? The Nine of Pentacles. This is very interesting because the Nine of Pentacles has been modernized into the card of someone being single, right? But the Nine of Pentacles can also talk about financial independence. It can talk about autonomy, right? Of mastering oneself. I feel the disappointments that you have experienced within your lifetime, within the last 15 to 16 years while Pluto was where it was, you are choosing self over anything or anybody else. Because we have the Five of Pentacles at the bottom. People have been severely disappointing. We have the Seven of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. There could be a lot of selfishness in your relationship so far. And this could also relate to work. Not enough reward for merit, right? You were working your ass off, but your income was peanuts. But you just kept doing it in hopes that things would get better, things would get better, things would get better, but they never did. A lot of you may just be disengaging from those companies and starting your own businesses, right? That's what the Queen of Wands could represent. Regardless of gender, the Queen of Wands can be an entrepreneur, someone who follows their passion and their dream. And again, if this relates to love, you are escaping situations that stopped nourishing you a very long time ago. The King of Pentacles with the Fool. Some of you are most definitely starting businesses of your own. But the King of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. I feel like if the energy was used constructively the last decade or so, the plans that you have for the future may have already ingrained themselves within your psyche, even though you may not have executed those plans just yet. But if you dig a little deeper, that blueprint is there already. That the map of that house, the visual is already there within your mind. The King of Pentacles is a very stable energy. The Fool is a very unstable energy, right? And you know what's so interesting? The Fool is Uranus. It is Aquarius. And the King of Pentacles is Capricorn. We've been talking about these two signs from the beginning of the video. And these are the two signs that are in the spotlight. There is a change here. There is a change in how you are conducting yourself. There is a change in the risks that you are taking, right? If you were somebody who wouldn't calculate the risks or think about the consequences before taking action, that's changing now. Even though Aquarius is the rebel, it is the mad scientist. The touch of that Capricorn tradition that has tinted our lives for so long, it's not going to leave our psyche within minutes. It's trained us, right? It's trained us to be those rebels with a cause, not without. Very interesting. For some of you, this could be an investment. It may seem really risky, but you're not going to put your money there if you don't think the reward is going to be worth it or the return is going to be worth it. You're calculating all of those risks. Some of you may be tempted to just sell everything and travel the world. But again, you're going to calculate that before you do it. You're not going to do it on a whim. The Ace of Swords with the Nine of Cups. How beautiful is that? You found your sunshine, or you're on your way to finding it. That Eight of Cups that we were talking about earlier, that emotional detachment from something that wasn't bringing you enough fulfillment and joy. You're finding it now because you've tamed the beast within. Leo energy. Strength. There's something here about taking the hard path, right? I did say but you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And that difficult path that you may be taking or are about to take, it may be riddled with chaos, right? But nothing good ever comes easy. Whether this is, again, you starting a business of your own, you disengaging from a company that hasn't served you, you exiting a marriage or a relationship, or cutting ties with friends that have been bad influences. Those things have been very permanent in your life, right? Things that you thought were constant. Now, walking a road or taking a journey without those constants can be extremely challenging and very difficult. But the Nine of Cups is that reward, so is the Nine of Pentacles, because you've done the work. The Eight of Pentacles before the Nine of Pentacles talks about hard work. The Eight of Cups before the Nine of Cups talks about hard decisions. You're being rewarded because you're holding on to your truth, not anybody else's. Observation and influence. Some of you may feel like you've lost yourselves, and it's interesting because I was speaking to my friend the other day about how I can't look back to who I was about 7 years ago. I can't remember who I was. Truly, like my essence has completely transformed because of everything that I may have gone through, because of difficult relationships, because of difficult consequences and realities. And I'm sure that's happened to everybody here, right? We've all changed, we've all transformed, especially during the pandemic. My God, that probably brought out the worst in all of us. So looking back to where you have been can almost help you realize that maybe you're not supposed to remember, right? Whether we realize it or we don't, time is not linear, right? We can jump timelines. And again, I was listening to a wonderful speaker the other day, and she was talking about a concept that was very difficult to comprehend at first, but it made so much sense. How you may meet a childhood friend, or you may meet somebody who was important to you a few years ago. And a few of those memories, a few of those conversations, you may be completely blank to them. You may not even remember them. And the same would go for the other person. Why does that happen? Because by looking to the future, you can very well change your past even, right? If you completely transform as a person, or you have transformed as a person now, it's almost like the timeline that you were on in the past, it erases itself. I know it sounds really woo-woo witchy magic, but it makes sense if you think about it. Which is why we lose out on a lot of those memories that we've made or created as kids. Because our future selves and even our present selves have transformed our past. So there's a transformation here about the past. A past that doesn't belong in your future or your present by any means. Because the future and the present are so much better. Plain and simple. So if anything has fallen away, any memories, any friends have fallen away, they were meant to. Relationships even, you know. I'm speechless. Justice. Four of Swords, Three of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, the Hanged Man with the Ace of Cups. Your love, your time, your energy is precious. No matter who it is. It's precious because it has been cultivated with care within us. If we throw it around to people who don't deserve it, we deplete ourselves. I'm not a saint. I'm not going to say everyone deserves your love and kindness. Some people actually don't, because they don't value it. They don't appreciate it. Then you're just pouring into a cup that doesn't have a bottom. It has a hole at the bottom. It's just going to pour out. So you're not even nourishing that person, but at the same time, You're emptying yourself out. There's no point. That's what I'm getting here. Hold back, all right? Depending on what your signs are. But if you have heavy water placements, it can be very easy for you to give too much. Okay? And some of you may have realized that the hard way. Now is the time for you to know when to hold back, and realizing that not everybody is a project that you should take on. A lot of people have wounding and traumas that are unresolved. Until they don't do the work themselves, there's nothing you can do. No salve, no balm you can offer them that will help them become better individuals. I promise you that. I've tried. I've tried to change and help so many people who I know have been suffering. But till they internalized that pain and actually worked to transmute it, they didn't change, no matter how much love I offered them. Keep that in mind. The Page of Swords with the Eight of Cups. Need another card here. Temperance, beautiful. Patience. Patience and observation. The Page of Swords is an observer, right? And patience. Well, the spider is patient. Interesting. I like how these are speaking to each other. Like I said, this is not going to be something that happens within 2 days, even though Pluto represents tower moments. I feel like those tower moments are all internalized right now. The actual execution of the rebuilding of that tower is going to be spread through decades. Wait. Like I told my client, wait to make any important and significant decisions right now. Because they're going to solidify. It'll be like getting a tattoo on your body. You're not going to be able to get rid of it. Even if you do, it's going to hurt like hell. So, observe, be patient, calculate the risks, and then move forward. Right now, especially because I've told you that it's the time to release and purge, it can be very, very easy for us to just like, out, you're out, you're out, you're out, you're out. You know? But some of those people that we're kicking out, we may have a karmic contract with them. And they may circle back into our lives. I touched the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles while I did that. Those people might circle back into our lives and show up when we least expect them to. That'll be the bloody tower then. So, any decisions that you make now have to be observed and considered. With influence, I'm also getting, and the Ace of Swords and the Eight of Cups, that some of you may have a few unhealthy habits. God knows I have a few of my own. And if there was ever a time for kicking those habits out of your routine, out of your life, it is now. Because those changes will stick. Pluto will help. So will the Sun. Ace of Pentacles with the Seven of Pentacles. Investment. I'm going to get one more. And the Six of Pentacles. Interesting. I need another one. With the Queen of Swords. Wow. The Seven of Pentacles is divine timing, and I have been talking about that. I have been talking about how it's important for us to give the universe a little bit of freedom to see what it has planned for us, right? The swimming downstream or just going with the flow. The Ace of Pentacles is the slowest pentacle. It's the slowest ace, in the tarot. It is a seed that when planted grows into a beautiful oak that will protect you, shade you for the rest of your life. This is the Ten of Pentacles that I'm talking about, the big old oak, right? While the Ace of Swords can be a very quick cutting energy, the Ace of Pentacles carries the earth with it, right? Something is gonna show itself, reveal itself when it is time. There's something bubbling below the surface here. You can't see it. But then again, you can't really see a seed sprouting roots, right? Doesn't mean there isn't work happening underneath that soil. There's something happening here. And with the Six of Pentacles, even though it's a slightly more diluted energy, you do have Justice twice. And both of these cards talk about balance. You see the scales right here. Karmic Justice. Some of you may put yourselves in this state of victimization. And I'm not calling you out. We all do this, right? You may put yourself in a state of victimization and tell yourself that, well, the universe hates me. The universe doesn't want to do anything for my growth, for my betterment, for my joy. That's not true. It's creating long-lasting change for you, which is why it hasn't shown up yet. It takes time. The Queen of Swords here is telling me that you have made a lot of sacrifices to get to where you are today. And they're all going to be worth it, with the Four of Wands at the bottom. This is the finish line. This is your heart running a cross-country marathon, finally being able to rest. The Four of Wands is also a portal. We have the Three of Cups at the bottom. Your community is showing up again. The Four of Wands is 1111. This is a portal. This is you entering a brand new reality. It's like Alice entering Wonderland, right? You'll enter Wonderland because you've done the work. You've made the sacrifices. And the universe realizes that. The divine realizes that. That's why it's bringing all this balance into your life. The Hierophant is also telling me that there's this leveling up of sorts. The traditional Hierophant in the Rider-Waite wears a crown that has 3 levels to it, right? Those levels represent initiation, apprenticeship, and then eventually mastery. You are growing up. Your soul is becoming older and wiser because of all the lessons that you've accumulated in this lifetime and the previous ones. That's what makes you an old soul, right? All the lessons. So a lot of lessons have been digested here by you. And again, with the Hierophant and the Four of Wands, I'm getting commitment, because both of these cards talk about a higher level of commitment. Whether this is commitment to another, it is commitment to self, it is commitment to your career, it is a commitment that you cannot shake off. You're committed to that for the next 2 decades. You understand? So choose your rebellion. Your rebellion with a cause. Choose it wisely right now. That is of primal importance, because you will not be able to shake it away once you've made that decision. All right? This was a little more esoteric than I had anticipated, and I feel like I lost my train of thought multiple times because there was just so much, right, that I wanted to talk about. So if this reading at any point seemed a little vague, I apologize. I hope it helped. I hope I helped you study this energy because it's highly potent, right? And we must understand it to use it wisely. The full moon reading and your February Valentine readings will be uploaded soon. Make sure you have the bell pressed, and if this reading did resonate, a like and a subscribe would be highly appreciated. All right, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.